Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
The most obvious sweep in the entire world? I'm not surprised at all. The Phillies handled business. I don't have to sit here and try to convince the Phillies fans or convince the baseball world that the Phillies are good. This is what is expected now, and it's a lot easier to enjoy a baseball squad when that is the case. So I am making a pact today. It is Sunday, August the 7th, that I will no longer have to try to explain why this is great or why this occurred throughout a 4-game sample size or a 6-game sample size or a 10-game sample size, because the definition of a good baseball team is what the Phillies provide on a consistent basis at this point. It's obvious. It's obvious. There's no reason to keep explaining it. So, what else, unfortunately, was not surprising is Pete Rose, because he's a mess. He's pathetic. He's a douche. That's what it is. He did so many wrong things, and that's why I'm conflicted as a human being. When you talk about a player with the hits that he has and everything surrounding what Pete Rose is as a baseball player, Hall of Famer. The person, horrendous human being, awful human being, and I don't know how anybody thought that it was funny what he did on the broadcast. Tom McCarthy, that's a very uncomfortable position to be in, and it's something that is unnecessary. You don't have to say those words on a broadcast. Be professional and hold yourself accountable, and don't even get me started on what happened before everything with Alex Coffey, who does a great job covering the Phillies for the Inquirer, saying babe afterwards. And if you didn't hear exactly what happened, Alex Coffey tweeted this out around 11:50 in the morning. I asked Pete Rose what he would say to the people who say his presence here sends a negative message to women. His response, no, I'm not here to talk about that. Sorry about that. It was 55 years ago, babe. Just a disrespectful you-know-what. And, it's unfortunate that there are people out there like that. And it's also unfortunate that there are individuals out there who will support that garbage just because of him, the baseball player. It's crazy. I did see some interesting debatable tweets, though, about when you honor somebody throughout the history of this game, and can you talk about baseball and leave Pete Rose out? No, you can't. No, you cannot at all. So it's not a Hall of Fame on morale. It's not a Hall of Fame on if you're a good person or not. It's a Hall of Fame on what you did on the diamond. But, of course, there's rules and gambling and this and that. We've been through all the back and forth before. It's something that whenever betting or whenever anything gets brought up in the sports world, the Pete Rose debate is high on the list of ones that never go away. So it is what it is. But yeah, I just hated every single minute of it. It was very awkward. As soon as he had the microphone in front of his face, we all figured it was going to be a disaster. So I don't know why it was even went with the way that it was, and it's a shame because it puts a negative light, and a reasonably so negative light, on what was a great weekend, and that's a Phillies team that handled their business. I already talked about Thursday in the short game, the 5-inning game with Thor. I already broke down what happened on Friday, too. So we got an explosion during the weekend. Saturday, you go up and you scored, it was 9-0 after 2 innings. Rhys Hoskins in the first inning, and that was a common trend, just demolishing baseballs. This team is hitting the long ball, but, you saw them grab a 6-0 lead in the first inning. You had Stott and JT Realmuto triples. You're seeing triples go down. Corbin can't even get out of the first inning. Obviously, those triples weren't all within that frame. I'm just saying in general, that's what you saw from the offensive side, and Patrick Corbin sucked. He was so bad. It was a tough watch for sure. Just knowing what Patrick Corbin once meant as a baseball fan, you think this is going to be exciting. This is going to be a pitching duel. This is going to be someone who could, I don't want to see someone mow down the Phillies lineup. I'm just saying, take the Phillies away from it. Think about what the name Patrick Corbin meant in a previous year, and it's just absolutely laughable to see him there. So when it becomes 11 5, and here comes a couple runs here and there. Doesn't bother me because it's not as if the Nationals have a backbone. So whenever they see themselves getting annihilated the way that they are, they don't fight back. They don't have that determination to stay within the game mentally to see if they can squeeze a victory out that they had no business winning. No, they fold. They fold. So you get a couple runs here and there. That doesn't mean you had this amazing work ethic and this compete level and a beautiful effort. Sometimes you just score some runs. You go down 9-0 and you're the Nats who trade away Juan Soto and Josh Bell. It's over. So I don't really care what happened afterwards. And it's a shame because someone like Aaron Nola pitched, someone like Ranger Suarez pitched, and there's really not much to even talk about with them because your offense did what they were supposed to do. And it's not a shame in regards to, I want this to happen, right? I want to win 13-1. I want to score 11 runs. I want to see a 9-run lead so we're not breaking down maybe a 6th-inning curveball that you didn't love the placement of. Or, hey, JT Realmuto caught a certain pitch with 2 strikes, and then Aaron Nola left it over the heart of the plate or something along those lines. I'd rather be stress-free when watching, and I have to admit that I had an outstanding Sunday. I've been working weekends heavily for a long period of time now. Basically, the last 5 years or so, 6 years, it's been extreme work as if it's a normal work week just on Saturdays and Sundays. This is the first Sunday that I have had off where it felt almost like a lazy NFL Sunday. And honestly, as of late, it hasn't really been a lazy NFL Sunday for me because just to put it in perspective, and I'm not crying about this, okay? I love what I do. I'm just giving you context here on how I felt, and I'm just sharing my feelings about it. When last year came around for the Eagle season, I would wake up, I'd have a little bit of a morning. 1 o'clock, I had my notepad, and we were in dissection mode and studying the Eagles game. And then as soon as that was over, I waited for the coach to speak, and within 5 seconds, I had to run into my office, do a recording, upload the video, and while it was uploading my post-game reaction to the Eagles, I was flying to 97.5 The Fanatic in Bala Cynwyd to do a 7 to 10 p.m. show, to come home and then produce Inside the Birds to make sure that their podcast was up for that Monday morning at 6 a.m. So while I love my job and I love talking sports and I love the Eagles, I haven't really had a time where I had a Sunday, relax, analyze the bird. Like this was a Sunday where I lit a candle, I got Starbucks, iced coffee, just had nothing in my mind except for a Phillies afternoon game. Had the dogs going crazy, playing a little bit. I set up some things for my shoes, a whole new shoe rack, but I did it in front of the TV. Amazing. So Sunday was awesome, and it was stress-free. Saturday, I was in a wedding, so I didn't get to break it down to the nth degree that I normally like to. But when I get the notifications blowing up in my pocket, I was in the wedding, so I'm standing up during the actual ceremony. And here, things are going off. I'm looking. Rhys Hoskins, Bohm, keep it going. Nick Castellanos with some hits. How about Nick Mates on Sunday afternoon? 4 RBI. Rhys Hoskins does it again. Homegrown talent, too. Derek Hall, 2 home runs Sunday. Is he not ridiculous? Is he not electric? Is he not so damn exciting? I think Maton could play. It's just a little bit of a jam right now within the infield. Hell, he had to get rid of Didi Gregorius to make some room. So there's a lot of guys that are playing at a high level. I love a common trend with this team as well, which is it seems like guys push each other in a very strong way, where you're all playing great. So everyone knows I got to keep my game up, right? I got to keep doing my thing. I got to keep my foot on the gas. You had Stott save a run. It wasn't a close game, but just saving a run. He can do that as he makes a good play up the middle and gets it out at second base. If the ball goes through, you're probably seeing someone score. Alec Bohm ends an inning as he's going to his right. Short pick. Glove in the right spot. I do have a little bit of a nitpicking thing with with that play, if you remember. It was first and second, 2 outs. It's a ground ball hit to him. It's a short hop. He makes a good play. And then on the run, as he's somewhat rolling into the foul territory, he makes a throw across the diamond, and it was caught at first for the final out. You make a good play. It's a final out. Okay. If there's nobody on base, you don't even think about it. But there were 2 people on base. How come his brain never processes that he could touch the bag at third and you don't have to worry about an error or worry about a bad throw? Sometimes with him, and he made the play. He did make the play, and it was a nice play. But this isn't the first time it's been brought up that he doesn't just tag third. It's a thinking game. And I think when the ball gets hit to him, sometimes he has too much going on, or he's overanalyzing everything, or his brain shuts off. But that has to be noticed. And one thing I won't stand for is this. It would have been close. I saw the replay. It would have been close. Watch it. Maybe it would have been close. Whatever. It's all right to say Alec Bohm is playing phenomenal, but you still have to realize that this is a definite issue with him. We're not just making this up. You can count countless times this has happened. So just take away this one, right? There's still how many we can dissect? So it's there. You can criticize a player who's playing great for something that you feel he needs to get stronger at without claiming that this guy can no longer play. You can acknowledge it's fine. Baseball's a game of mistakes. So, yeah, no doubt. Home run, hit. Sometimes the batter just goes and gets it. Sometimes the batter puts a good barrel on it, and it's a fine pitch. But if you're seeing guys crush the ball a lot, it's probably because there's pitches hung up. Think about it from an Aaron Nola perspective or anybody else. When someone else on the other team hits a home run, you go, oh, he left a breaking pitch up. Yeah, that stuff happens. That's fine. Doesn't mean Aaron Nola is not good, but you can acknowledge that pitch that was hung on an 0-2 count. And I'm just speaking really from, not anything in particular, anything seriously that went down, but just something overall in general. What else was electric? Marsh had 2 hits. Oh, getting hit by a pitch a couple times. Rhys Hoskins in the forearm. Bryce Harper was yapping away. Love to see that energy. And who else got hit? Was it? Oh, yeah, Nick Castellanos. He got hit in the back as he turned his back away, and he got beamed. Now, the Nationals blow, so part of me just feels that they are so bad and they are so awful that they were accidentally hitting them. The other side of me goes, stop being naive, you idiot. They just got creamed and embarrassed. They didn't just lose. The Nats lose, so they're accustomed to it. This wasn't just getting losses. This is kicked in the teeth. It's bad. You're down bad every night. Stop hitting home runs. Nobody retaliated, and that's okay because the Nationals are not worth that type of energy. If it's the Mets, if it's someone else, okay, I could see more fire. I could see a reason why it's go mode and it's time to attack. At the same time, though, if you remember previously this year around the league, there were guys that were getting suspended for some brawls that happened, and then you would think about a certain player or really a collective group of players not playing for 6 games, 5 games. Is that worth it, getting beamed? But the best way to respond is exactly how Bryson Stott did. Drove a pitch, bases loaded, clears the bases. Just keep tacking on more runs. You suck. That's what you say. That's the statement you're making by delivering a big-time hit. You suck. Shove it. That's all. Shove it. That's the best way to do it. Then you don't have to worry about losing time and not having somebody playing for you because they're suspended. Boom. Stott. Derek Hall. Rhys Hoskins. Look at the guy stepping up right now. Homegrown talent? What? In what world? Isn't that magnificent? Isn't that a breath of fresh air? Because I'll tell you for free, I love every single second of thinking about these kids delivering. So Rhys Hoskins, JT Realmuto, and there was a lot of guys too. JT hit a homer, he had the triple. Then you look at the following night. Derek Hall, 2 home runs. Nick Maton, 4 RBI. Bryson Stott, 3 RBI. Every day, someone new. You get an off day on Monday. The Marlins after that before a big series against the New York Mets. Fear? What fear? I'm not afraid of the Marlins anymore. And I went into this series very confidently, paid dividends. I'm feeling the same thing right now. They're red hot. Their MLB network, let's see what's going on. Phillies are playing magnificent baseball. They're top of the order right now. Everyone's noticing that something's brewing. They can win 90 games. They could win 90 games. Now, this is courtesy of Tyler Zulli over at The Fanatic, and he tweeted this out later in the evening. 30-24 the rest of the way gets the Phillies to 90 wins. That is so achievable at this point. 30-24, I bet you they do better than that. What? Before the season began, I said 86, 87, 88, that range. If they don't get to 90 now, I'd be shocked. Shocked. Doesn't that just make you smile? 856-442-9805. You can call in or text in on the Anytime Hotline right now, and you will possibly get your voice heard, and I will share my thoughts on your opinions. Of course, the chat room is doing its thing as well. People are mentioning the Bohm play. He would have been beaten at third. Yeah, see, that's just an excuse. The right play is to look at third. He just doesn't do that. It might have been something where it would have been closer than you would like, or maybe not, though, really. I think we're just trying to say that because you saw what he did. He doesn't think the game very well. That's not breaking news. It's all right to criticize that part of his game. You defending him to the point where saying, well, that was an obvious good play because it would have been close. That's unfair. That's too much. That's too aggressive. Maybe it would have been a little close, but I think we're just saying that. And in reality, if he just attacked the bag, it would have been an obvious out, and he would have kept running with his momentum, jogging right into the clubhouse, and he'd be going right into the dugout. I hate that, though. I do. I hate that. Well, no, because there's momentum, and it didn't have to be. What do you mean, the momentum? It was a short hop. He picked it nicely. Then he started running towards third base. He just went more into foul territory and threw it. And I don't want this takeaway here after the game to be, I'm upset with one ground ball from Alec Bohm. Because there's a lot more positives to talk about. And when I want to utilize my energy and make sure I'm handling it the right way, it's talking about the sensational offense and everything with this team right now with their morale. And how young ones are stepping up. Guys like JT have put the beginning of their seasons past them. Castellanos has more life. That's where we should be going. Broads, the Phillies are playing bad teams. This is coming from Alex. I don't want to do this either. I touched on this yesterday. Their season started with one of the hardest schedules in all of baseball. They started out slow. Now they're winning a lot of games, and people are referencing the teams that they're playing. Would it change if instead of playing the Dodgers, Padres, and then another good tier, all the Mets in the beginning, if some of these bad teams were slotted in between those and you still come out with the same record? How can they control that one? They're sweeping them in 4-game sets. They're not winning 3 or 4. They're sweeping them in 4-game sets. They're taking 2 or 3 against the Atlanta Braves. This is what they're doing. It doesn't matter when you play these teams, these bad ones, the good ones, this one, that one, this one. Over the 162 schedule, you're playing all these teams. What do you do when it's that given night? Stop with that. That's stupid. That's stupid. All right, let's take a call here and hear from Jimmy. What's up, Jimmy?
Very impressive sweep of the Nationals by the Phillies. A hot streak. They've won 9 out of the last 10. And, of course, I know what the rebuttal is going to be. Oh, you played the Pirates. You played the Nationals. But here's the thing. In the past few years, the Phillies would against the Pirates or hell. They would even lose. They would even lose 3 or 4. The fact that they're not only taking care of business and winning these games, but winning them pretty damn convincingly, pretty much shows that this team's on the up and up. And I just kind of hope that we can keep pace with the torrent National League. But right now, we're looking really good, and I'm excited.
Yeah, no doubt. It's crazy because the shift has been so apparent now that it's expected to do that. It's expected to rock and roll this sharply. And now we're starting to see a very consistent, powerful lineup where throughout some guys were doing well while some others struggled. Bohm did his thing, Rhys did his thing, Kyle did his thing, and it kept the team afloat during all of that, right? Now, though, Schwarber's popping in a 33rd. He's popping in a 34th. Castellanos is hitting in some runs. He's knocking in some RBI. Stott is delivering when needed to. Rhys Hoskins, home run, first inning. 4 straight games with a bomb. You can see just the big-time confidence throughout the entire lineup. Bohm. And he's doing it all over the field, really. So this is what occurs. A lot of runs, a lot of home runs, and it not being close. Quite frankly, I don't care if you have a 6-5 win, a 6-4 win. And realistically, with Noah Syndergaard on the mound in the first game of this set, yeah, I mean, you could say that wasn't a blowout. And when you thought that maybe they were pulling away with it, of course, the Nationals fight back. Even though, like I said previously, there's a big difference between being like a real team that believes they can do it and then scoring a couple runs. But I think it's fair to say when Syndergaard was on the mound, it definitely shouldn't have squeezed back into a range that it did. And then, of course, the play by Nick Castellanos out in right field to throw the ball to home plate the way that he did to get the final out before the rain delay was incredibly huge and timely. You're seeing this team? No. They know. And that's why we have the belief that we do. They know it. And it really puts it in perspective on the fake no that we thought of in many seasons prior to this. It's kind of laughable. It's kind of funny now, thinking, right? Because this we know. We know. You'd be stupid to question. You'd be stupid to wonder. You'd be stupid to think down upon this team and to not believe in the product that they're showing. It's night and day. All right, we got a text here from Connor on the Anytime Hotline. Is this the team going to be I'll repeat that. Is this team going to be unstoppable when Bryce comes back? Do you believe he will play right field? Now, I think that's interesting that question popped up about playing the field and not just DHing. Before he ended up losing time and not being here because of the pin and all that, I never believed he'd play outfield this season. He would just be the DH, and then he takes care of that arm when he needs to in the offseason. Apparently, I'm hearing it's possible. I'm not saying it's 1,000%. I'm not saying it's the highest percent. But I'm hearing, I guess, maybe it is possible that with him taking time off with that elbow while taking care of the pins in his hand, that right field could be back in play. Whereas if he didn't get hit and he didn't take that time off, well, then maybe the elbow and the forearm and all that stuff where he was getting his shots wouldn't be in necessarily the same exact position as it is now. I'm more in the I'll wait until you show me mode. I'm more in the when I see it, I'll believe it kind of thing. I'd be the happiest player in... I'm not a player. Look at me, just pretending that I play in Major League Baseball. I'm not the most confident person in the world about it, but I'm not ruling it out either. I just want to see his bat back. Although it does change some things with what you can do with the DH. It's crazy to think where this team would be without it, though. Bryce wouldn't even be available. Would we even know about Derek Hall? I know that was touched on a couple times throughout the broadcast. Is that not sweet, that swing? He's a serious player, man. He's got some serious raw power, and I can only imagine what happens with the more and more he gets out there. The growth. I see a pretty damn high ceiling for that. It's 2022. This game, that long ball, baby, that matters so damn much, and that's a lethal weapon. I love this. I got a comment the other day. This team needs more Starling Martes. This team needs to play more small ball. This was after the Cubs series. Why? This team needs more small ball? I'm not mad when Kyle Schwarber bunts down the third base side to get a couple guys on. That's okay. But all around, you think this team doesn't have enough firepower, and you'd prefer to have less firepower and more single guys and whatnot, more old school? Why? Grow up. This is how you win games. This is how you show your worth. There's other elements to this game: starting pitching, defense, bullpen. It's a lot in the winning. A lot. But offensively speaking, it's a crazy world when you see the ball fly the way that it does. Another text coming in here on the Anytime hotline, 856-442-9805. Now do you feel the same about Pete Rose as you did before you heard him speak today? You can leave your name, by the way, in the text message so I can actually give you credit for joining the show and sharing your thoughts, but no name asked that. I'll be honest, hearing him today, yeah, I mean, it definitely brought back a lot of emotions that I've had in the past that kind of lost a little bit just because of the timing and all of that. And he's just a terrible human being, it seems. You know, I mean, the guy just doesn't get it. He's unwilling to change. And it's interesting it played out the way that it did today, because on the best show ever, we were talking about this weekend, knowing that obviously his face would be shown and there would be some sort of reaction to him. And I mean, I'm not giving like the craziest two. I'm giving you the only two options in the world, really. But there were two ways to kind of think about it. One, he would realize, okay, I'm in the public eye. Let me just go about this the right way so everything could be smooth, and maybe I could start the transition into people changing their thoughts on me. Or it's Pete Rose we're talking here, all right? He's going to be stupid. He's going to be Pete Rose. He's going to be Pete Rose. He's going to be Pete Rose. And a lot of my thoughts went, well, why would he change now? Think about who he is. We know his personality. I just wondered, is it possible someone finally got to him? Some communication went through that brain into thinking about changing the narrative on Pete Rose and the Hall of Fame and this and that. But nope, of course, he did this, which makes the most sense. And if I was a betting man or thought about the betting odds, it probably would be minus 750 that he would put on a performance the way that he did. Just so unprofessional, and it was really embarrassing. Do I feel the same? I'm in the same spot, honestly. You can't talk about the game of baseball without him. I think there's baseball reasons why him, Barry Bonds, and the list goes on and on, or why they should be in the Hall of Fame to be talked about as a baseball player. The problem is the human being standpoint of it, though. I think he's such a lowlife that it puts me in this conflicting spot. But at this rate, keep him out. I mean, it's not really what I want, because I want to see these people with the baseball accolades to be discussed baseball-wise, but he is just a really bad person. And it sucks to, kind of sucks to have to listen through for sure. Let's see here. Lander from Michigan. Hello, Lander. Loving the young talent right now. The infield is getting pretty crammed with Hall, Maton, Stott, Bohm, Segura, Rhys. Who do you play? Well, you play Bohm at third base, you play Stott at shortstop, and you play Segura at second base. That's what you do. And then Rhys Hoskins is your first baseman. And with Bryce Harper back, if he's going to be a DH, he's a DH. And Derek Hall is a left-handed bat that comes off the bench realistically. And that's kind of how you would rotate things in my eyes. And, I know in previous situations, if Max Scherzer was on the mound, they'd take Rhys Hoskins out of the game because they don't trust his numbers against him. Maybe once in a blue moon, that would be maybe a discussion behind closed doors and all. But I think that would be probably a little bit more rare than the norm. So just something to note. But yeah, I don't even think it's a question. I mean, Maton's not taking anybody's spot right now with where they're currently at. Your left side of the infield is what you want it to be, right? I mean, you talk about the future of the Phillies. Those were two names. Just like we're talking about Abel and Mick Abel and Andrew Painter. What we're seeing is a different form of that at this current moment. And then Segura's going to be your second baseman. But I can't wait. I can't wait for Monday off day. And then right back at it against the Miami Marlins. Right back at it against the New York Mets. The adrenaline rush I get every day thinking about this team playing. It's a blessing. I've missed this feeling, and I'm soaking it in. I'm embracing the moment. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me. I'm trying to see here what's going on here at the bottom of the chat talking about NBC Sports going to have some fines tomorrow because of Pete. Man, I would not want to be working behind the scenes when he's saying the things that he's saying. I'm sure they were praying and praying and praying for that to go away and for that to finish and the inning to be completed. But really, who didn't see this coming? I think when you know that he's going to be on the broadcast, why don't you just eliminate that? Well, fans want to see him. He could have been there and he'd get the round of applause mixed with some boos before the game occurred, with everybody else getting their acknowledgement. Let that happen. And then from there, that's fine. Then everyone will be complaining, well, we didn't get to hear from. Well, this is the alternative. So I think there probably should have been some foresight here to see that this was probably going to end south. They all knew it, and they sat there and allowed it to happen. Whoever made the decision, that is. I don't know who made the decision. I'm just saying. I think that was probably seen 8 years ago. If you told me this day he would be on the broadcast, that you'll probably be disappointed with the outcome afterwards. Yeah, he went right from that to J-Roll. And J-Roll is just the absolute complete difference. And A+. So, all right, everyone, thank you so much. New to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're looking to buy tickets for any event out there, SeatGeek promo code BROADS for new users gets you $20 off. It eliminates parking. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. I was going to say it eliminates fees, which you then can utilize that money and save that for parking. So I guess in theory it is, saving you parking. Promo code BROADS. Do not be a fool. Get yourself to a game today. And then TikTok, Broads Media, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Check it all out. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. I'll catch you on